Hello everyone and welcome back to the Lion's Den. I'm your host Matt as always, and this week has been another week as you probably would assume. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's happened today so far because today has been the most interesting of all the days. So first off, I managed to get a Tidal subscription for 3 months for free because they were doing one of those sort of introductory offers where when you first sign up you get free membership and whatnot. Now if you're not aware, Tidal is a music streaming service and they tout that they have the best quality. They have what's called master tracks, which are supposed to be really high bitrate files that are as accurate to the music when they were produced in the studio as possible. Obviously, given the fact that you're streaming it over the internet. And obviously they're like saying, oh, well, infinitely better than Spotify. And for me, I am a Spotify scrub, 100%. The way I listen to music most often is I have a pair of Bluetooth headphones, the Bose QC35 Mark IIs, which are gorgeous. I've had them for 2, maybe 3 years now, and I'm so glad because they sound wonderful to me. I'm not an audiophile by any stretch of the imagination. And to me, those plus Spotify, out of any device, beautiful, love it, can't complain. Also, small side tangent. If you've never had over-ear headphones, get over-ear headphones, they are amazing. In-ears are great for out and about, and they're especially great in summer because big headphones in summer are terrible. But when you're actually at home, sit down, wanting to listen, over-ears are great. Side tangent over. So, I installed both Tidal and Spotify on my laptop and picked the tracks that I listen to quite frequently or that I've listened to a lot and know the ins and outs of, or at least I think I know the ins and outs. The annoying thing about Tidal is they don't have absolutely everything I listen to, and to be fair, I do listen to some weird fringe music every now and again, so that's fine, but some of the bigger tracks, I was sat there thinking, you don't have this? Really? But hey ho. What was useful for me is that I listen to things like Daft Punk and I have the odd Earth, Wind and Fire song in there, which are obviously going to be on there, and they're super old as well, meaning that they've got the high quality versions of them. Not all of them are in master, which is, again, weird. It's like, that's the whole thing you're touting, but you don't even have most of the stuff in master quality. Whatever. So I sat down, I plugged my headphones in, and I'm ready to listen and try to find some sort of noticeable improvement. And I really didn't, I'll be perfectly honest. There was one track, which was One More Time by Daft Punk, which they had in master, I think. And I listened to both that on Tidal and Spotify. And there was a noticeable difference in like one or two instruments. Like they sounded slightly crisper and a little bit more detailed. But that was about it. The overall experience was pretty comparable compared to both of them. Now there might be other stuff going on under the hood, like the frequency response might be slightly different, which I know can contribute to better enjoyment of listening. Because if you're not being exposed to certain frequencies as often, your ears don't fatigue as much. It's kind of like, imagine when you're looking at a screen, if it's really bright in a dark room, it gets fatiguing after a while because you're kind of like, it's too much. It's the same thing with hearing. If you're hearing the same unpleasing frequencies for too long, your ears fatigue and you kind of go, I don't want to listen to music anymore. But I really cannot tell the difference. I haven't tried it over Bluetooth because I know that there's a bunch of finicky stuff you have to fix with Bluetooth, especially on the like line of codecs. If you haven't got the right codec, that will limit the amount of data throughput you can have for music when you're streaming over Bluetooth. So I need to look into that and sort that out. And we'll see if there is a noticeable difference, but I'm glad I got it free because the premium membership on Tidal is 20 quid a month. And that is honestly insane for the fact that most people don't have the equipment to take full use of it. The other thing is, alongside the whole idea of music, I got into the craze that is Friday Night Funkin. Now, if you haven't played Friday Night Funkin', it's essentially a DDR style game with the 4 arrows, but you use your keyboard or you use whatever controller you want to input as long as you can map it correctly. I played it a while back. I played it on the Newgrounds website because it's free. God bless them. That is amazing that they've managed to produce this quality of game for completely free. But I played it a while back and they didn't have the option to remap, so you either had to use the arrow keys or the WASD or both, and it confused my brain so much. Left and right, fine, because they're distinctly separate, but on a keyboard, up and down are stacked, right, vertically. but because of the way the game's laid out, they're all horizontal, so up and down was confusing as. But they've recently allowed you to now remap the controls, which makes the game infinitely more playable, in my opinion, because I can make them all just in a straight line and then use like my index fingers and my middle fingers to tap them horizontally. Oh, and it's so good. I love it. Honestly, I'm really enjoying it. And week 4 has some bangers of tunes. It's so satisfying. I am a rhythm game nut, though. I really enjoy different rhythm games, and especially if they have a really good control scheme and really good music, then I am in heaven. I'm singing, loving it. So that I definitely recommend looking into it if you're interested in rhythm games, and also if you've been seeing all of the memes about the boyfriend and the girlfriend and you're curious, go look it up. It's free to play. I think it's even free to download if you want. So yeah, and the music is so good. That's what sells a rhythm game to me. If it doesn't have good music, I don't care how fun it is to play. It's gotta have a banger of a soundtrack to just draw you in. Right. The gym was weird this morning. I go to the gym 3 times a week, humble flex, in both senses of the word. And I got there just a bit before the session starts, so we have to book time slots. I got there a little bit early and I was queuing outside and there was no one. Now this is very odd because in the preceding weeks, whenever I get there, I try and get there a little bit after most people start queuing because I don't want to be the first person in the queue, which is a whole separate story that I'll come to maybe later or another day. But I got in the queue 10 minutes before the session was about to start and there was absolutely no one, so I was a bit confused. The time rolled round for us to walk in and there was still no one, it was just me, so I was like, okay, go all the way upstairs. I get in and there's just one woman with a coach doing, I presume, a guided training session and absolutely no one else. So I literally had the gym free for about 10-15 minutes of that session, just on my own. For whatever reason, it was very bizarre, but people did come, but it was still very, very quiet. And I wonder if that's just because people are moving away. For context, I go to a university gym, so people might have gone home by now, or they might be doing whatever people do after. I have no idea. But yeah, that was nice. It was nice having a gym to yourself because you don't have to worry about looking like an idiot, or you don't have to worry about lifting a tiny amount of weight when there's somebody across from you that can lift like 3 times your body weight. Yeah, insecurity about being in a gym is a fun thing, even though I'm now at a point where I can lift a decent amount of weight, but not like a substantial amount of weight. I really cannot talk today. This is going swimmingly. But it's still kind of terrifying to look at someone and see them lifting twice your body weight, because it's quite easy to figure out the weight based on the plates because they're color coordinated, so that's always fun. Right, small follow-up as well. The computer I bought last week, that ended up going back. Me, I checked the size specifications on the website after getting the box home, which was monstrous. And the size specifications were huge. According to some friends that are in the know with the whole technology space, they told me that was a full tower, which I had absolutely no idea that's what it was. Because numbers on a screen are one thing, but seeing those numbers in practice in real life is whole different kettle of fish. And yeah, it would have been too big. There's not much room on my desk for that kind of a computer, so sadly it had to go back. But I'm now going to pay much more attention to the size specifications on any website when I'm looking at a computer, although I think I might have scared myself off a bit. I get this way when it comes to buying something expensive, that if I make a mistake like I did there, I actually just completely freak out. Because I was sort of thinking, like, can I actually return this? Are they going to accept that I was just like, it's too big for the return? And obviously most of the time it's fine, as long as you've not, I don't know, got it out, destroyed it, and thrown it through a garbage disposal before you give it back to them, you know. So, yeah. I'll probably end up waiting 2 weeks before I purchase something else, and then have a whole buyer's remorse with that thing. Honestly, buyer's remorse is the worst thing, but I don't know if that just means I value money higher or I'm not used to spending money. It could be either one, because, you know, I'm also currently looking at buying a car. I've had my first car now since I passed my driver's test, which was 4 or 5 years ago almost. So I'm eventually going to look to buy a newer, decent car that will be my, I don't know, my workhorse, you know, when I go to job interviews and hopefully end up getting a job, so I have to drive places. And that's going to be expensive. Probably the most expensive thing I will have bought in my life, you know, at least a couple grand, 3-4 grand maybe, depending on how much I have saved up. So that's going to be interesting. But I think as long as I have, I don't know, maybe my parents kind of saying, yeah, this is a good financial decision, it'll be okay. Because, you know, it's hard. Oh, maybe I'm just weird and other people are completely fine with spending large amounts of money. That's just different people. Anyway, thank you all for listening to basically an insecure person talk about themselves. But I hope you all enjoyed. And I'll see you all next week. Bye.